Hello, brothers and sisters. Joker216 coming at you uh, with another drawing video. I realize that I almost missed this month. This is the last week of the month, so I might as well get a drawing video out. This one, I'm going to make a little different. And before I even start, I'm going to go ahead and lay out like some roughs. But while I'm doing these roughs, I want to go ahead and, talk at you guys for a little bit, give you a little bit of background on just who I'm going to draw. I mean, you read in the title, you probably can tell who I'm going to draw, but you don't know who that is. So basically, what you need to know is in middle school, I was heavily into rap music, and I was always into rap music, like like mostly classics. Like I wasn't into like the little, because we're talking 2003, 2002 ish. You know what I mean? 2002, 2003 ish, where I did like rap music, but I never really gained an appreciation for it until I was maybe in middle school. Now, this all spawned from liking bands such as Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park. Yes, I was one of those Limp Bizkit fans back in the day. Hell, if I'm gonna be honest with you, Limp Bizkit is kind of one of those. I mean, you'd call it a guilty pleasure. I still dig some of their classic stuff. I know it's bad. I'm never gonna sit here and try and argue that Limp Bizkit is good music. It's definitely very bad music, but I get some enjoyment out of it. Specifically, Rollin', because that was their biggest song, and that was the Undertaker's theme song when he was Biker Taker, especially around that era. But anyways, uh, I was in middle school and I got heavily into rap music specifically because of the rapper Eminem. Now, through Eminem, I got into other rappers. Like I got into Mobb Deep, I got into Tupac and Biggie, of course. I mean, if you're into rap music at all, you know who Biggie and Tupac are, even if you don't like them. You know who Biggie and Tupac are. And then, I got into some of the old school stuff like the Sugar Hill Gang, KRS-One. I listened to a lot, some of NWA, and not a whole lot of it, but and granted, it's mostly because of my parents who actually had a lot of these albums, and I'm talking like the records, dude. We've since lost them, but they had like the records. They were into this stuff when they were, when they were younger. So I was, into hip hop music quite a bit in middle school, and of course, being the hip hop fan slash comic fan that I am, which yeah, I was bullied for it, but not too bad, especially considering at the time, even though I consider myself horrible at art in middle school, a lot of other kids, they didn't really know any difference. They just saw my artwork, they saw that it was competent, that I knew what I was doing, and they decided, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and think that you're awesome because of this. Anyways, this is just a generic profile shot. And the reason that this is a generic profile shot is because when I was in middle school, I had created this character. And the entire concept of this character was that he was basically a superhero, and he was a very unconventional superhero. I called him Rap Man. Yeah, original concept, right? And I'm pretty sure this has been done already, but the concept that I was working with in middle school was that, he was a superhero, but he was a superhero that, he would battle rap. And battle rapping is essentially where, two MCs would get on the mic, they'd play a beat, and, it's basically kind of like you know what a rap battle is. Come on, guys. Especially those of you of the epic rap battles of history crew, you should know what a rap battle is. If you don't know what a rap battle is, look it up. You'll know it. It's basically just like a dick swinging contest between two rappers. But the concept that I had was he would battle rap his opponents, but as he battle rapped, it would be like, his power would surge. You know what I mean? Like something along the lines of he would battle rap, and then like it was just it was more atmospheric than it was like, oh, I'm actually punching. You know what I mean? It was lame. It was a lame concept, and I have no. You can hear my dog barking downstairs. Anyways, it's both my dogs barking. Anyways, I have no desire to go and revisit this concept. I mean, maybe I'll have him a cameo, but anyways, I'm going to remember to the best of my ability what Rap Man looked like, and if he essentially looked like Robin with like a beanie, like one of those long beanies, and then he had like a T-shirt, and the symbol was a mic. It was a mic, and it was it was basically being You'll see, you'll see, you'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to draw my the creation of my childhood, Rap Man. Uh, this is some hilarious stuff. I never thought I'd be back here. I never thought I'd be drawing this character again. And the whole reason I drew him in the first place was because I had this project I wanted to do. It wasn't a school project or anything. It was just like, I liked making comics, and I would make comics on notebook paper. They'd be pretty bad. But it was what it was. So anyways, I want to go ahead and give him a mask here because, like I said, he essentially had a Robin mask. At the time, I thought this looked so cool. Granted, when I drew him, it looked dumber. So, and then I gave him like these. I gave him these sideburns. I essentially just gave him like typical Batman eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more. For the record, he was like, for the record, Rapman was not black. Again, heavily into Eminem, so of course, a lot of his design was based off Eminem. Let's do the typical superhero upper lip. And because 50 Cent was a huge deal at the time, remember this is 2003, so 50 Cent's in the club was everywhere. I gave him a sort of bandana. Gave him a bandana so that he could wear over his beanie. This thing, see, the reason I made the beanie high up like this is because I remember watching Friday After Next at the time, and there was this dude in it who he would wear a beanie just like this. It would like kind of it would just kind of stick up. Hell, to this day I have this beanie that would do that. It's got Sonic on it, but I'm not gonna put Sonic on here because this was back in the day when it wasn't cool to like stuff like Sonic. And of course I had to represent that in my work. Again, I was a child, so I didn't know the first thing about character design. I literally just made the dude, wear a knit stocking cap. But this is where I gave him a t-shirt, and on that t-shirt I put a mic, but the mic was being held by a hand, and it was doing kind of like the asshole sign. Of course, I make the t-shirt, long because back then that's how a lot of youth dressed, including myself. Gotta make sure you give him the gloves. The funny thing about this is I think this was the very first time I ever, like, this was the very first pose I ever drew him in because, being a kid, not really knowing the first thing about art, every drawing of mine started at was always like a three quarters angles, which a lot of people would criticize me for later in life, acting like I did, like that's all I ever did, which I personally don't think that's what I was doing. But I mean, I did learn, so it's not like, it didn't help those people saying those things about me. Now, I don't remember how his gloves were, so I'm just going to go ahead and color them, fill them in with black. Because I do not remember at all what I did with his gloves. In fact, I don't even remember if he had gloves. Oh well. Got this sucker going on. Now, onto the logo. I'm pretty sure I nabbed this logo off of somewhere. I'm not gonna pretend like like I came up with this. Remember, I was a child. I was a child, so I kind of just drew a simple microphone with a cord like that, and then I drew a hand gripping it. However, the way the hand gripped it was kind of like the way L does when he grips his sweets, with two fingers, and the rest are all outstretched. Because I honestly thought that was like the coolest thing at the time. Obviously now, it's like, oh, it's dumb. It's all just dumb. But that was basically it because his sign, like, it was basically the John Cena sign, the OK symbol, like, like, like he would always end his, he would always end his rap battles with that. He'd hold the microphone like that when he got real serious. Now, of course, this being an early 2000s character, he sagged his pants. A lot of people do. I understand that now. I understand what that now means. Like, well, not now, but it meant then that, oh, you tell guys in the prison yard that you're available. I of course didn't really care much for that. Like, I wasn't like, oh God, I can't be wearing my pants like that, man. Telling guys I'm available. Obviously, I don't wear my pants like that now, but I attribute that more to my mother just telling me, hey, pull your pants up. And thank God she did. I would not want to be wearing my pants half off my ass right now. Especially with how people talk these days. Always got to be on the lookout. But anyways, some jeans. And, being a rapper, he's always got to have some fresh kicks. So, of course, gave him some Converse All-Stars. Back then, like, the coolest shoe to everybody was, like, the Air Force One. And I never saw the appeal in it. And I always liked the look of Converse over the Air Force Ones, which, I was made fun of for. But then, of course, Converse came back in, 2004 because of Will Smith. I mean, I'm not saying it was because of it, but, I'd always liked the Converse. They always look cool to me. Because we want to go ahead and show that this guy has fingers. Now, while I... Sorry if you heard a bumping right there. That was me moving my cord. Anywho, let's fill in these shoes so they can look presentable. You guys are really getting a in-depth, behind-the-scenes look at how I was as a child. The kind of things that I was into. Which not to say that I'm not into rap music now. Of course, I like a lot of rappers these days, like Kendrick Lamar. I do. I recently have gotten into Childish Gambino. Very good guys. And I would always give him a cape. And this is some funny shit. I would always make it like, one of these kinds of capes. Like he just got a blanket together and threw it on. I don't know why. Like the dude didn't really need a cape. The dude did not need a cape whatsoever. This is like a rapping superhero. And of course, I would use it as an excuse to write rhymes, because I used to write rhymes. Which yeah. I mean, did I ever want to be a rapper? Sort of, but not really. I did, but I didn't. It was more I wanted to be like a writer, like a songwriter. I wanted to write stories. I wanted to write, hooks. I wanted to write lyrics. And that's what I did. And I frequently would just make comics, of Rap Man and his adventures. I gave him a sidekick called Beatbox Boy, who was based off of one of my friends at the time. I have forgotten what Beatbox Boy looks like, so I can't rightfully recreate him for the masses right here. Man, this is bringing back so many memories. Oof. Alright. But yeah, there was one of my there was one of my first original characters, I guess you could say. Rap Man. He busts his rhymes just to beat the bad guy. The more I think about it, the more stupid I realize it is. And I'm so glad I never went with this concept. But, hey, at the very least, I had some fun, right? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Um, Thank you to all the patrons who have subscribed. I'm at $268 per month, man. Guys, keep supporting me. Like, seriously, everybody, I urge you. I don't urge you. I'm not going to say it's required, but I would greatly appreciate, hey, even as little as $1 a month helps, because, a lot of people in my $1 tier, they would be, they come to me and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not giving enough. No, you're not understanding something. You giving me $1, you're giving me enough. I understand that, budgeting is hard. I understand that, money is hard to come by. I understand that, you have priorities and you don't exactly want to give it to a guy drawing comics on the internet. But at the end of the day, it's like every dollar helps, you know? Like just like earlier this month, I was at 249 a month. Someone came to me and was like, I gave you a small contribution. I hope it helps. That person has no idea how much that contribution helped, because it jumped me from 249 a month to 250 a month. And honestly, seeing 250 a month was enough to just like, oh my god, I felt so good about that. That made me feel great. Now I'm at 268 a month. Guys, please check the Patreon if you don't like, if you don't want to, if you don't want to pledge to the Patreon, if the subscription pledge isn't, good for you, hey, feel free to tip me on Ko-fi. Any amount is welcome. Any amount. And just, your support is always appreciated. Hell, without your guys' support, I would not be able to do the things that I do. You understand? Join the community. Join us. And you get stupid videos like these every month. I do need to get back into making podcast videos, but anyways, I greatly appreciate all of you who support me, and how those of you that aren't patrons, I appreciate you guys too. Every like, every reblog, every retweet, every follow, everything, every comment, hey, I love it. It helps, and it helps to lift my spirits up. So please keep being you. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. This is Joker216 signing off.